Madhava Jaya Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunya Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nasabesya Bhadesya Nityam Bhagavata Sevyam Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavitanaistike. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 87, the prayers of the personified Vedas, text 29. It's on the board. There's a verse with 17 syllables. It doesn't fit in the Brahma Samhita rhythm, but I'll try. Stira chara shaya shataya shukh ayutta nimitta juyo. Stira chara chataya shukh ayutta nimitta juyo. Viharaudikshaya yadiparasya vimuktatata. Nahi paramasya kachidaparo naparasan bhavet. Vichata eva padasya tavasunyatulam dadata. Stira chara chataya shurayo yutta nimitta juyo. Viharaudikshaya yadiparasya vimuktatata. Nari paramasya kachitaparo naparisamavet. Vichata iva padasyata vasunyatulam dadata. Stira chara chataya shur ayatota nimitta juyo. Viharaudikshaya yadiparasasya vimuktatata. Nahi paramasya kachidaparo naparisabhavet. Viyataiva padasya tava sunyatulam tadata. Sthiraja chataya shuryat yatyuta nimitta juyo. Vihara udiksaya yadiparasya vimukta tata. Nari paramasya kachita parona parasabhavat. Vijayataiva padasya tava sunyantulam tadata. Someone else? Stiraja shayatea shur ayayutta nimitta joya. Virara udikshaya yadiparasya vimukta tata. Nari paramasya kachita parona parasabhavet. Vijati bhapadasya tava sunyatulam dadata. Good. Word for word translation. Stira, stationary. Chara, and moving. Jataya, species of life. Syu, become manifest. Ajaya, with the material energy. Uta, awakened. Nimitta, their motivations for activity. And the subtle body is activated by such. Juya, assuming. Vihara, sport. Udiksaya, by your brief glance. Yadi, if. Parasya, of him who is aloof. Vimukta, O eternally liberated one. Tattaha, from her. Na, not. He, indeed. Paramasya, for the supreme. Kachit, anyone. Aparaha, not foreign. Na, nor. Para, foreign. Cha, also. Bhavat, can be. Vyataha, for the ethereal sky. Iva, as if. Apadasya, which has no perceptible qualities. Tava, for you. Sunya, to avoid. Tulam, a resemblance. Dattataha, who take on. Translation and purport by the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. O eternally liberated, transcendental Lord, your material energy causes the various moving and non-moving species of life to appear by activating their material desires, but only when and if you sport with her by briefly glancing at her. You, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, see no one as an intimate friend and no one as a stranger, just as the ethereal sky has no connection with perceptible qualities. In this sense, you resemble a void. Purport. Not only are the living beings totally dependent on the all-powerful, independent Lord for their maintenance and welfare, but even the very fact of their embodied existence is due only to his exceptional mercy. The personality of God has no interest in material affairs, since he has nothing to gain from the petty pleasures of this world and is altogether free from any contamination of envy or lust. He is exclusively involved in confidential, loving pastimes with his pure devotees in the internal realm of his spiritual energies. Therefore, the only reason he ever turns to the business of material creation is to help draw lost souls back into the inner circle of eternal enjoyment. To attempt a life separate from the Lord, rebellious souls must be provided with suitable bodies and an illusory environment in which to act out their fantasies of independence. The merciful Lord agrees to let them learn in their own way. So he glances at Vishnu, his energy of material creation. Simply by this glance, she is awakened and makes all required arrangement on his behalf. She and her helpers manufacture countless varieties of gross and subtle bodies of demigods, humans, animals, and so on, along with countless situations in the heavenly and hellish worlds. And just to give the conditioned soul the exact facilities they desire and deserve. While the uninformed may blame God for the suffering of his creatures, sincere students of the Vedic literature will come to appreciate the Supreme Lord's equal concern for each soul. Since he has nothing to lose or gain, there is no reason for him to distinguish between friends and opponents. We may choose to oppose him and make all endeavors to forget him, but he never forgets us, nor does he ever stop providing us with all necessities, along with his unseen guidance. Srila Sridhar Swami prays, Vat ikshanavasa ksoba maya buddhita karma bihi chatan samsarata kinan nriha repaina pita. O Father, O Lord, appearing as a half man, half lion, please save those who have been born into the endless cycle of birth and death. These souls are distressed by their karmic entanglement, which Maya awakened when your glance excited her to activity. I read the translation once again. O eternally liberated transcendental Lord, your material energy causes the various moving and non-moving species of life to appear by activating their material desires. But only when and if you sport with her by briefly glancing at her. You, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, see no one as an intimate friend and no one as a stranger. Just as the ethereal sky has no connection with perceptible qualities, in this sense, you resemble a void. Om Ajnana Timandasya Jananjana Shnakya Shakshvanmritamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapalantikam Vandeham Shiru Shiyuda Patakamanam Shirum Vaishnavam Shah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Chatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavani Sutta Devi Pranamama Hari Priye Pankha Kalpta Visha Kripa Sindhve Visha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini, Nirvashesha Sunyavadi Paskachaya Desotarini. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So these are the Shrutis speaking that the Shrutis of the Vedas, that they are embodiments of all Vedic knowledge, and they are speaking this Vedic knowledge here, first glorifying the Supreme Lord. In all the previous verses, because verse 29, in the previous verses, the Shrutis, they have glorified the Lord's independence and his power. That, but now that this verse indicates that the jivas, the living entities in this material world, they are lacking power and they are not independent. They are completely independent on the Supreme Lord. That's also in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15. Krishna speaks the Trisloka Gita, 3 slokas, which summarize Vedanta philosophy. In the first sloka, he says, there is the liberated soul and the conditioned soul. That, that's in this material universe. In the spiritual universe, you have the liberated souls, here you have the conditioned souls. But above them, I'm above them, Krishna says. That, and the liberated souls and the conditioned souls are both under my control. He is a supreme controller. So if we are liberated in the spiritual world, we are controlled by the spiritual energy, which gives us much more freedom. In the material energy, yes, that we don't have much freedom, but still freedom. So there are many points in this verse, but the essence of this verse is, Bhagavad Gita says, Maya drakshana prakriti chutachesha characharam etunan akantya jarat viparivartate. So Krishna is Maya drakshani prakriti. He controls material nature. And here in this verse it's explained, he controls by his glance, just by his will. That he is the supreme controller. And it is by his will that this material world is going on. That Jagat Viparivartate, it's going on by his will. That, but the living entities are in illusion. And Krishna makes arrangement for their illusion. That, their illusion, that I heard one devotee saying, yeah, someone is taking, in India you have the Orient Express. I think it's going from Mumbai to Mathura or something. You take the train, you are 24 hours on the train. So you go on the train and you have paid a ticket for a compartment. Nice. You come in, you start to decorate it. You put your you put some paintings on the wall, and you make it comfortable. You install a kind of curtain with electricity so that you are shaded from the sun, that you have a little refrigerator. You install everything. It takes 20 hours, and then after 23 hours, the train conductor comes and said, out. Oh, out, I just have installed everything. So that's this world. We are going to make permanent arrangements to stay here, but we cannot stay permanent here. It's not possible. That was a question of the Yaksha to Yudhishthira Maharaj in the Mahabharata. What is the most wonderful thing in this world? The most amazing thing? And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, the most amazing thing is that people make permanent arrangement in this material world, but everything is temporary. They have to get out soon. So they try to fulfill so many material desires. But it's all temporary, it's all for nothing. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. One who lives only for the pleasure of the senses lives for nothing. It's just all for the body, and we are not a body. You have to get out soon. It's all very temporary. But that's what we want. In Bhagavad Gita, in one purport, Prabhupada says, yes, the living entity desires to be put in certain material conditions. We desire that. That's why we are here. And Krishna fulfills all our desires, makes everything ready to fulfill our desires. Of course, it's under the material laws. Material laws, you have gross laws and subtle laws. The subtle laws are that everything what you do with the idea of this is mine and this is from others, mine and others, that you will get reaction. That every selfish act or not God conscious, Krishna conscious act will get a reaction. And we cannot avoid that. Get one reaction after another. So all the suffering we get are reactions of our past activities, that's all. And Krishna, it's mentioned here in this verse, Krishna is neutral. That, okay, you have done that, you get exact this reaction. What to do? But still, the foolish living entity continue to exploit material nature. And that's life after life after life, until this universe is destroyed. But then the living entities are in the body of Karnodakashai Vishnu. And when the new creation comes, it's described in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 4th canto. Mahavishnu, Karnodakashai Vishnu, he exhales, and from his exhalation all the universes are formed, and he enters each universe as Garbhodakashai Vishnu. And to Garbhodakashai Vishnu, to his body, all these living entities which had desires in previous creation, they are again created and restored, and to the point they can continue fulfill their material desire where they ended their work in the previous creation. That's very interesting. So where they ended, Krishna gives them again facility and reminds them of their material desires. They say, now you can try again. And so Krishna makes arrangements for that, but the purpose is that we become frustrated. Frustration comes always because material desires cannot be fulfilled. That's explained in Bhagavad Gita. The material desires covers your intelligence. Material desires means desires to give pleasure to a body, which we are not. It's the definition of insanity. That, in other words, the Bhagavatam say all living entities in this material world, on exception of the devotees, they are insane, because they are identifying with the body, which they are not. It's a serious disease. Because we are here at the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. The first 10 cantos we are supposed to have studied to understand something from this high philosophy here. The Shrutis from the Vedas, they are the transcendental knowledge. They are enigmatic, puzzling, difficult to understand for those who are not trained in this philosophy and do not have one cannot grasp the inner meanings. But just to this verse, there are pages and pages of commentaries on this verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, by Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and we see also Sridhar Swami. So many commentaries. But yes, the living entities are under illusion, and Krishna, and they are making permanent arrangement in a temporary setting. That's it's like, yes, we try to enjoy. So a person condemned for getting capital punishment because he committed a murder, and he gets a last meal, a very luxury meal, but the next moment he's going to be executed. So death is always hanging before our head, above our head, every moment. How can you become happy? How can you be happy in this world if you know you have soon to die? It doesn't make sense. But everyone seems to accept that in this world, don't speak about these things. You are not the body and so on. You get in trouble. That it's just people cannot digest this philosophy. It's too much for them. That's anyway. I could give examples, but I'm going to get in trouble by giving this example because it's so. People cannot accept it, that for every action they had a reaction. That one war starts by one party, and everything what they do, they will get a reaction. So yes, but Krishna activates our material desires. We forget them from previous lives. He does that on a cosmic scale, when he creates again, but also individual. After this body, we get the next body. In this body, we had material desires. Next body will be a reaction of our action in this life. Therefore, you get this body. A new body. And we may not remember our previous life and everything we done in our previous life, But Krishna will remember us. He will remind us of our desires of previous lives. That's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 270. This is verse Apariyamanam apala pavishtam samutanape pavishanti sarve. So this verse 270 Bhagavad Gita, as rivers are going to the ocean is not disturbed by the rivers entering into the ocean. So similarly, when we're spiritually advanced, is not disturbed by all material desires which come up into his mind. That is not disturbed by it. It doesn't accept them, let them go. But they come into the mind. Where do these material desires come from? How do they enter the mind? Why do they come up? That you may have different reasons why material desires pop up into our mind. Visharada Gopinath Ki. Material desires come into our mind because the soul desires this enjoyment. That may be one. Another way is desires comes by association, by the environment. They come into your mind. That you can go to a big street and people, there are restaurants and they get the smell of all this food stuff and they desire to go into the restaurant. So that comes by association, that someone speaks about this enjoyment on their holidays and you want to go there and so on. But a more prominent cause of desires popping up in our mind are desires from our previous lives. These desires from our previous lives, they are still in the subtle body, in the form of samskaras. That's impressions. We don't remember, but the impression is there. But Krishna remembers. And sometimes he takes some of these material desires and it pops up into our mind. And we think, yes, that's my desire. Well, the conditioned soul will think, that's a good idea, let's go for it. And he goes again. But the devotee is different. He has learned and realized, I'm not his mind. The conditioned soul thinks I'm the mind. Feeling, willing, and so on. But the devotee knows the mind is an instrument that I'm using. It's in Bhagavad Gita. To make spiritual advancement, you must make the mind your friend. Manmana, always thinking of Krishna, then it's your friend. So we are not the mind. But just to come to that realization that I'm not the mind, you must be already a little spiritual advanced, or you cannot. Therefore, if we don't follow the principles of religion, the main principles of religion, compassion, truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, if we don't follow them, if we eat meat, if we are drinking alcohol and so on, you will identify with the mind. You cannot look at it from a distance. It's not possible. And that makes the devotee immediately different from all other people. We look at the mind. And then that material desire comes up and the devotee looks at it And he thinks, what kind of desire is that? Oh, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9:22, Ye samsvasya dukayonga evate. Yeah, it's 5:22. Yeah, that's this verse says, Ye samsvasya dukayonga evate atyanta vantikantya satadat Satatat Ramate Buddha. No, that's Isam Swasgabu Dukayana Evite Atyant Pantakante Nate Ramate Buddha. The great sages have concluded that if you want to enjoy in this world, the result will be suffering. It's an interesting way to think. That you want to enjoy, you have to pay later with suffering. So the devotee knows that, and he sees that this is a material desire. I don't want it, I don't want to suffer. And it goes away. That's the difference. But we see Krishna here he reminds us of the material desires we had in the previous creation or in the previous body, so that we can continue our work according to our desires. And that is all done by Krishna. It says here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, there is a merging of the jivas because of merging of their upadhis or illusions of identity at pralaya. Pralaya was the previous destruction, that at that time, the living entities had material desires, had upadhis, false egos. That's an upadhi. Thinking I'm a human, thinking I'm a man, a woman, all these things. That these upadhis are there. And you lose your body at the previous creation. New creation comes. Krishna says, okay, I remind you of your material desires and your upadhis, what you were thinking you are. You can again think you are. I gave you a body for that. So that's just one sentence of this commentary, so we can go very deep in it. And Krishna gives us the possibility again to start our activities where we left off. But Krishna is with no interest. He has no interest in the material world. Because Krishna, or God, the Supreme Lord, does not think in terms, this is mine and this is from others. It's impossible for him to think that. Because Krishna is everything. If you are everything, then how can you say this is mine? It's not possible. You are everything. It's not possible. So Krishna does not have this concept of I and mine. But we have that concept in this world, therefore we are here. We think that is mine, that's for others. We have this separatist mentality. We think we are the body. I'm a human, I'm different from all other species. I'm a man, I'm different from all the women. I'm Belgium, I'm different from all the other nationalities. It's all upadhis, separating. But it's illusion, we are not separated. But Krishna, is not under illusion, we are under illusion. But Krishna is equal to everyone. It says that also in Bhagavad Gita, Samam Sarvabhuta Namit Veshit Stinapaya Yebachantatamam Bhaktya Maiti Tesa Sapyaham. Krishna says, I envy no one, I'm not partial to anyone, I'm equal to all. That, but when you render services unto me and accept me as a friend, I will be his friend. He reciprocates with us. But the material energy, Krishna say, I'm nothing to do with the material desires of the living entity. That is what they want. Say, nada te kayachit papam na cheva sukritam vibhu akyanina vitam ghanam yena moyanti yantava. 5:15 Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I'm not responsible for this pious and impious acts of the living entities. That is what they want. So, yes, that we as jivas have no power, no independence. And therefore the Shruti says it's good to worship the one who has all power and who is independent. So yes, everything happens by the glance of the Lord. So Sanatana Goswami, he says, the Lord has no direct connection with the jivas who are not surrendered. For them, it's like a judge giving them their karmas equal. But to your devotees, you show favoritism because that is mentioned in the verse. Why is this creation there? Yes, to fulfill the material desires of the living entities, but also to bring them back. So we know if we are under this illusion that we are the enjoyer in this world, we will become frustrated. Frustration will be there. And suffering. The conditioned soul will suffer and not learn anything from it. It suffers, but it does not create any detachment from this world. But the devotee who attends the Bhagavatam class and chants Hare Krishna is a good sadhana. That suffering is not affecting him so much. Why are we suffering? Because of attachment, illusory attachment of I and mine. That we are attached in this world to so many things usually. Now even as a sannyasi, we are detached to our laptop because we need it for our service. So there is some detachment, but it has at least a spiritual purpose, the use of the whole thing. But as we make spiritual advancement, we become more attached to Krishna. And it's that attachment to Krishna which creates detachment in our heart. Because factually, everything is Krishna. Krishna is everywhere, in every cell, in our heart, everywhere. We cannot be separated from Krishna. It's not possible. But in our mind, we have separated from him. And that's the whole cause, this separatist mentality, Prahlad Maharaj says. This separatist mentality, seeing things separated from Krishna. Therefore, the Bhagavatam teaches us in the third canto, fourth canto, how this creation comes from Krishna, and how Krishna is present everywhere. That how nothing is disconnected with Krishna. And then Jalli, our illusion, goes away. This is mentioned in the second verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam Chatusloka. Viteritam na pratyeta na pratyeta satmani. It says that everything which is everything which we see disconnected from Krishna is illusion. And the illusion is very deep. We think ourselves the doer in this world, but Krishna controls material energy. And you have to act according to your nature. You get that. You have no choice. If you have the body of a dog, you cannot talk like a human. You have to bark. That's your nature. So we get this body, and we have to act in the human role. But we are not humans. I heard devotees saying after a few years of practice, but after all, we are still humans. No, never think like that. We are spiritual beings in this body. We are not humans. We have a human body, which is different. But Krishna makes all these arrangements to fulfill our material desires, to frustrate us, and so that we give up that tendency to look separately. But unless you get some special mercy and you come in contact with the devotees of Krishna, you cannot get out of this situation. Brahmanda Brahmade Konya Bhagavan Shiva Kura Krishna Prasad Bhakti Lata Beach. We go up and down in this universe, and then Lord Chaitanya said, then when we become Bhagyavan, we become fortunate. Then by the mercy of Krishna, we come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, and the bona fide spiritual master gives you Krishna in seed form, Bhakti Lata Beach. And that seed of devotion we have to water. And that's the purpose of the whole creation, to give us that possibility to come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. And it said, Krishna makes that arrangement, that you come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. So what comes before? Why does Krishna make that arrangement for us? He will make that arrangement if we sincerely take shelter of Krishna and pray to him, please, I've done wrong. I should not have come here. I came here because I wanted to enjoy separate from you. But I know by the mercy of the spiritual master and the Vedas now that my real home is the spiritual world, the eternal world. And I have Krishna there, and my eternal family, they are waiting for me, and I'm losing my time here, traveling from body to body. Please help me. Help me. If your calling is sincere, Krishna makes sure he makes arrangement that you come in contact with the spiritual master. But then we have, even when we come in contact with the spiritual master, we must take advantage of the situation and accept the mercy. But this verse of the Shrutis is very deep. I read all these commentaries, and it is really going very deep, but without study of the first 10 cantos in depth and getting very deep in understanding of the spiritual techniques, it's not easy to understand that, but it's very beautiful that you have the example here. The Supreme Lord is like the sky. The sky is real. We cannot say that the sky does not exist. That, but we cannot see it. We cannot grasp it. That. So the Supreme Lord is like that. Is not visible. Is adoxia, not visible to our senses, but we don't see him because we don't have devotion. That. Therefore, and this is the commentary of Jiva Goswami, said, therefore we should receive bhakti from the devotees, and then we can see that the Lord glanced, that this glance is important, that how did the creation start? By the glance of the Lord, they say, by the will of the Lord. In the beginning, the creation started, there was only Brahman, and by his glance, Krishna put the three modes of material nature unmanifested into Brahman. And then by his glance, he added time, influence of time. Time is different in the material world or in the spiritual world. But he added time. And then by his glance, he injected all the living entities which were dormant in his body from previous creation. But they had material desires. And by their material desires, the material energy became agitated. That interesting. By the material desire of a living entity, the material energy started to move and became mat tattva, prakriti. So, in other words, we as living entities, we have created our own prison, the material world. It's very, very deep. That and the jivas are like sparks of fire, the Upanishads said. But the Lord is superior. Superior is mukun, is akshara. The Lord existed before the universe. That so, and then Jiva Goswami said, we can only know the Lord by bhakti. In Bhagavad Gita, bhakti amama vichanti avyasasmi tatvara tatamam tatvato gatva vishati tat anamtaram. Only by devotion one can know the Lord. That and it means devotion is a spiritual energy. Devotion to Krishna is a spiritual energy. It's Ladini Shakti, the highest spiritual energy. And that gives us the most confidential knowledge and understanding. That's something to understand, that this devotion gives us the right understanding. So yeah. Okay. Are there any questions, comments?
Is it the devotional service makes the distinction between devotees and people who they have more material.
Of course, that is correct what you say, because that unless we become a devotee and understand how devotees are different, pure devotees are different from conditioned souls, you cannot make the distinction. That people outside, they will think devotees, they are mad. These devotees are mad. Poor people. Now they have the chance to enjoy, and they don't want to enjoy. They give up all enjoyment. But a devotee understands there is higher enjoyment of the soul, this Ladini Sakti. And that's what Bhagavad Gita explained. You have to become a Mahatma and connect with this higher energy. By always speaking and glorifying the Supreme Lord. And that's what we are doing now. So this is what Queen Kunti says. Queen Kunti says to Krishna that your appearance is very bewildering because you are covered by a curtain of Maya. So we are in this, behind this curtain of Maya. As long as you are under the material energy, you cannot understand these things. It's not by scholarly endeavor one can understand that one is not a body. Theoretically maybe, but the next, because that is the point. Prabhupada in the beginning, especially, Prahlad Nanamraj told me that he joined in New York, and then Prabhupada went to San Francisco, and at that time there was no internet and all these things, so they made a phone call from New York to the temple in San Francisco and said, what was Prabhupada speaking about this morning in the Bhagavatam? And he said, you are not a body. So he repeated that again and again and again, you are not a body. And we need to hear that again and again and again. Because we hear the class and we go out and we act according to the duality of attachment and aversion, means we act again as the body. So we have to hear that again and again and again. But there were scholars that was just when Prabhupada, the Chaitanya Charitamrita was printed in 3 months' time. And then some scholars in San Francisco got the newly printed Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they came together to discuss the book while drinking wine. What can they understand? They cannot understand anything. The Chaitanya Charitamrita is the PhD, is the highest. And you can understand something from Chaitanya Charitamrita when you have realized I'm not a body. But it's like what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the 9th chapter, is confidential knowledge. So atheists may read it, but they don't understand anything. A devotee understands the real meaning. Gradually, it gets into the real meaning. Because also, that is what Krishna says to Arjuna. Arjuna, I'm telling you this, giving you this knowledge. You can understand it because you are my friend, you are my devotee, you are sinless. These are qualifications. Without these qualifications, this knowledge remains secret. It's the most secret knowledge, Krishna says. that Rajaguyam, the most secret knowledge. But when you follow the instructions of the spiritual master, then gradually Krishna reveals this knowledge, and gradually you start to understand that so only devotees can understand these matters. All the others remain bewildered under the curtain of Maya, and they go on suffering life after life. But the devotees want to help them. Therefore, we are spreading this knowledge. And Krishna says, here this verse says the same thing, the truth is that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, created this universe with the purpose to bring us back. But it says in the purport also, they have to work it out gradually they will come to their senses. Many lifetimes. That's also in Bhagavad Gita. Baunam jnanamante jnanamam pavachte vasdev sarvamiti sarv samatma sudurlapa. After many lifetimes, they start to understand, oh, the source of everything is Vasudev Krishna. And then they surrender to Krishna. So Prabhupada's, I heard a lecture yesterday, in the lecture yesterday, he said that why waiting so many lifetimes? Surrender now, do it now. And that is what the devotees do. And they get access to this deeper understanding. Does that help?
Short question.
Yeah.
We are in Bhakti Yoga line, we say we are not religious, but we always talk about that we need to follow the main principles of religion.
Yeah. The difference, you are lower principles of religion and higher principles. To understand the higher principles, you must follow first the lower principles. Like the Buddhists, they have 8 truths or whatever, that we have 4 principles of religion. And that's the beginning of a religious life. That to be clean, that saucham, and then tapasya, to be austere, don't drink alcohol and all this, and don't smoke. And that be compassionate, don't kill animals and eat animals as not compassionate. That and then of course there is truthfulness, accepting that we are the body, not the body, but the spirit soul. That's the beginning of truthfulness. Accepting who you really are, that accepting the Vedas. So these are the basic principles of religion. If you follow this basic principles, then you become free from sinful life. Therefore, the spiritual master asks us to follow the 4 relative principles, because otherwise our system, we become again filled with lust if we do these sinful activities. And lust, avitam jnanamita, jnanina nityavaina. It's our greatest enemy. It covers our intelligence. The more lust in your system, for sure you cannot understand and realize that you are not a body. It brings you in the body concept of life. We have to stop that. That's therefore we have to follow the lower principles of religion. And then, while following these lower principles of religion, we can practice the higher principles of religion, which is bhakti, devotional service, the practice of devotional service. Therefore, we combine these 2 always, and that's what the spiritual master asks. You follow these 4 relative principles, you follow the principles of religion, and then you practice bhakti. And that combination is powerful. Without that contamination, you may try to practice bhakti, but if you are not following the basic principles of religion, you will not make spiritual advancement. Is that clear? I don't know if maybe no one has explained it in that way as I'm explaining it. Yeah. Anyway, it's a reality. That something else. Good. Thank you very much. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.